Is Bali still a hotspot destination for long-term travellers? I reckon it is. If you're a digital nomad or someone who makes your money online, Bali is definitely somewhere that you can still come and stay for a legitimately cheap price. We've stayed here at this beach resort for the last few days, which is not somewhere you would obviously choose as a long-term place to stay because the price was a little bit higher. It was about $110 a night, but it's good for families. It's a big area. But later on today we're moving to what we would call a more budget place, which is, if we were traveling long term, would be somewhere we'd definitely consider staying long term. We've stayed there before. It's a little homestay. It's about a street back from the beach. It's about $45 to $50 a night. Rooms are decent, air conditioning, there's a pool, and you get breakfast included in that price. So if you were to stay here for a month, that would cost you around $1,500 Australian, or maybe $1,000 US, which I think is probably a decent amount for accommodation, because considering if you were living at home, you'd still be paying gas, water, electricity, rent, things like that. So for $1,500 Australian a month, I would say that's a winner. That would be something in most people's budgets who are traveling remotely and making money online. As far as food goes, you can still pick up meals here off the street as long as you're not on the main tourist strip. They have little restaurants called a warung, which are local restaurants. Families open them. You find a few seats, and they make up a list, a menu of local Balinese food. You'll get things like nasi goreng, which is fried rice, beef rendang, nasi campur, nasi campur is an interesting meal. It's like 5 different Balinese meals or dishes that they eat made up in one plate, so you get to try a few different things at once. So it's always good if you come into Bali, try the nasi campur. It gives you a good overview of some of the Balinese cuisine that's available. So you can actually still pick up meals at places like this for under $5 Australian, so around $3 US. So you can still do that quite easily here if you look around for a meal. If you go out on the main street, like last night we went to a restaurant on the main street of Sanur. I had Indian, cost me about $8 Australian for a meal. If you're looking to have a beers are around $3 Australian each, but you can often find happy hour from 4 to 6 nearly everywhere along the street, along the beach, where you'll probably get 2 beers for that price. So that's really good value. To get around in Bali's a bit chaotic. For anyone who's ever been there may know or may not know, but there's not really public transport. There's a bus system, but it's very underused, and you don't really need to use it because there's a system called Grab, which is much like Uber or a taxi service. So you can hail a Grab on your phone app and you can get around. You can go up the beach 2 or 3 kilometres for to do your shopping, whatever you want to do, for probably $2 Australian to get a ride, which is good and reasonable value. So do I think that Bali's still a legitimate destination for long-term travellers? Definitely. For how long that'll be, I don't know. There's a massive amounts of work going on in Bali. The Indonesian government are pushing hard to get higher priced tourists, should I say, tourists that are willing to spend more money and stay at better resorts than what they're used of. So the push is on, and the building is immense everywhere. So Bali as a destination is only growing, and when that happens, that means the prices will certainly go up. But at this stage, we would say you could still do Bali as a digital nomad worker who plans to stay somewhere, work half the day or more, go for a walk along the beach, go out for tea, things like that. And you can still do that for, I would think, $3,000 Australian at the bottom end, up to about $4,000, and do it comfortably. So it's certainly still a venue that we will be probably starting out at when we start our digital nomad journey in the future. So Bali is still good value for long-term travellers. Bye.